Whoops. Sorry about that. Sorry I've, hello, been absent for the past few days. I've been busy trying to close out my folks' house in Florida that they were selling. Speaking of houses, I hear from a lot of you, and I know you keep getting the same things I do on a nearly daily basis. And here's one I got, a little picture of my house, and he's like, hey, we'd like to buy your house sight unseen, you know? We'll just give you all cash, as is, all cash. Right, give us a call, right. What these mean is one thing. It's, are you broke yet? Are you broke yet? Hey, just, are you broke yet? Are you broke yet? It's actually not funny. That's what they're actually trying to do to all of us. I was doing some metal work before, and I have headlamps, and I have basically every lamp imaginable. It sounds like a commercial, and trust me, it's not, and I have a link for it below. I only actually recommend stuff that I use all the time. You do have to be invested in the DeWalt system, but it's this little sucker. It'll actually take any of their batteries, which pop on the bottom here. It's got a swiveling head. It's actually got 3 settings, high, low, and off. I use these all the time for everything. They're incredibly bright. Absolutely. I think they're like $100. No, they could be $89 just for the light. Of course, you have to be invested in the DeWalt battery system. Well, you don't have to be, but they take the DeWalt batteries. My God, I really, really do love these things, and I stand behind them. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 52 years old. I'd like to take a couple days off, just to rest. I could go down to the cabin, which is what a lot of people suggested to me. I know I'm getting the main part of the video here quickly. But if I did that, it'd be all sorts of work to do, because there always is. And that wouldn't be resting at all. It's like, well, aren't you going to rest and go down to the cabin? If I did that, I wouldn't be able to rest because there'd be all sorts of stuff to do. It's like, well, if I stay here, then I can rest. So that's what my plans are. Sorry I've been so busy the past few days. It's absolutely been completely off the hook. Since tomorrow's my birthday, if anybody ever wanted to send me anything via the description below. I'm sorry that was pandering. You can go ahead and crucify me if you like over saying that, but I'll be 52 years old. Yeah, just a little bit uglier and a little bit, droopier in the face. Yeah. Things are actually slightly so. They're not actually calm at all, but every time shortly before a selection, you notice I said selection and not the other word. Here in the United States, November the 4th, things, gas prices, go a little bit lower, and, they try not to say anything too inflammatory. There's still an awful lot going on, and even though it's just down in Florida, for the last time, my parents' house is completely closed out. They don't own it anymore, and I can't go down there anymore to visit either because, well, it's gone. And the reason why we sold it is because, had to sell it. It's the same reason why they send these cards in the mail. Like, you broke yet? Hey, are you broke yet? Are you broke yet? Same reason. Same thing affects me, affects you. I don't know if you know this or not, but September the 18th is when they're going to take the Orange Man in New York City court, and they're going to sentence him. Many reports say they've actually already got a room, a special room picked out for him in Rikers Island. I am not interested in politics. I'm stating this as a matter of fact. There are many videos, by the way, countless ones, go on Telegram or other places, not that I'm any fan of Telegram, and you'll actually see that there are federal troops stationed in hotels in New York City. And they're being put there in pre-preparation for September the 18th, and assuming that people are going to congregate there when they give them a year plus in jail. I don't know how the selection you notice they use the word selection again, is going to work out this November the 4th. But, you know, a lot of things are going down. I'm not interested in discussing politics on the left or the right. I always kind of stand in the middle being common sense, facts, logic, and wisdom. But I think September the 18th could prove, if that doesn't happen and they don't sentence him to jail, I'll eat my words and I'll let you, you know, gladly feed them to me or serve them to me. But it is going to happen. I mean, I'm not a betting person at all, but I know it's going to happen. It just is. You know, one way or another, they're not going to let the reset, which is called 2030 Agenda, you know, it's all working towards a climax. They're not going to let that be upset. So they're not going to let him upset that. You remember the great financial crisis of 2008? I mean, I certainly remember it. You probably do then. But the stats, by the way, don't take my word for it. Take a look at them for yourselves, are 4 magnitudes worse than that just right before the collapse of 2008. I'd like to know what you think about that one. Yeah, X, i.e. Twitter, and I'm not even on Twitter, but it's been banned in Brazil. I actually watched, most Americans don't know and don't take any offense, could not care less what happens in Brazil, but I was watching this prominent journalist, fair-minded journalist from Brazil. He had to flee in exile, talking about the great evil that's going on in Brazil. But, you know, the short story is that, and if this stands for any length of time, there's going to be a lot of countries that don't want people learning truth and facts to access media where truth and facts are disseminated. I don't care whatever you think about Elon one way or another. It's completely unimportant. The fact that they're actually banning a serious portal for people to see what, you know, is real out there in the world. I know Twitter is full, and like I said, I'm not a member of it. I'm not on it at all. It's full of a lot of garbage. But it's still a free information portal where anybody that has 5 brain cells can determine, you know, facts from nonsense. And Brazil has blocked that, and Brazil should actually be incredibly ashamed of themselves. But there is a dictatorial, you know, there is a dictatorship established in Brazil. By the way, they said they're going to fine people the equivalent of $9,000 if you're using a VPN to get access to X, i.e. Twitter, to get around the ban. So that's, you know, there's absolutely nothing totalitarian or absolutely evil about that at all. You know, I assume that England, as shameful as it's been lately, and it has been really, really disgustingly shameful, is probably going to follow Brazil's move on that front. So if that stands up in Brazil for any length of time, a lot of other countries, evil dictatorships are going to follow, Australia and England being the first two. I don't know if you know this about Aurora, Colorado. There's tons of video out there that evil entities, these gangs, have actually taken over. The videos are quite shocking, very laughable, and this is something only a totalitarian would say. The governor of Colorado said that, you know, you shouldn't believe your lying eyes. He used the word imagination. And I don't know if there's anything more laughable. Actually, the only thing slightly more laughable than that is the evil that's going on in the UK right now. Interestingly enough, as a final note on Aurora, Colorado, and what's happening in Colorado, is that whatever you think about them one way or another, the folks at the Hells Angels Society say that they're going to roll up on Colorado and make their presence known. Those are the words I'm going to use. Those are not the words that they use. You can go look that up. Type in the Angels in Aurora, Colorado. Lowe's and Home Depot have issued a very dire warning over the economy. People just can't afford to fix their homes up or do home improvements. I mean, these are bellwethers for determining what's happening. But once again, we're at a 4 or 5 magnitude issue, far worse than right before that of the 2008 crash. And That really should tell you absolutely everything. Since here in the United States, we're actually love the evil entities that be love to play with fire. Very much so. Russia has issued a direct warning. They've now issued a direct dire warning to the United States and to NATO that if Western kinetics, as I will call them, kinetic tools are used to strike deep into the heart of Russia, that the consequences will affect both sides of the Atlantic. Of course, you know what that means. That means an exchange of thermonukes. I've said this before many times. It's more apparent now than ever. Ukraine is about to collapse, and there's a lot of indications just in the past 72 hours of that. By the way, the United States government does not care at all about the Ukrainian people, unfortunately. I've been to Ukraine a few times myself. It's a very beautiful place. Love the Ukrainian people. Love Russian people, too. Get along great with both of them. But they don't care about the citizens over there. We're actually waging proxy conflict with Russia in Ukraine. The collapse of the Ukrainian government has already started. The following ministers have resigned, and by resigned, I'm going to use quotation, resigned. Vitaly Stanislav Koval, head of State Property Fund. Ruslan Strelets, Minister of EP Protection and Natural Resources. Denis Malushka, Minister of Justice of Ukraine. Alexander Kamyshin, Minister of Strategic Industries. On and on and on and on. There's a long laundry list. The whole government is imploding from the inside. Just happened about 24 hours ago. No, 48, excuse me. The Russians did a deep strike against the Communications Training Center at the Poltava, Ukraine. There, the Swedish and Danish instructors suffered very badly. The intelligence circles are saying that Sweden lost the entire top management of Saab. I don't know if you know this. Saab, the people that make those super ugly cars that nobody wants. I don't think they're made anymore, are they? Anyway, they have a very robust military industry. It's called their Airborne Early Warning and Control, or AEWC system. It was completely wiped out. Intelligence circles say you can actually find tons of information about this online. You notice that right before government collapses, and you can actually see this here in the West, especially, and it is very apparent here in the United States. And I'm not one to, pick on other places and, leave the United States out. I'll be the first person to pick on the United States. That right before a country collapses, a lot of things happen. But two things happen. Is that to keep people from seeking out freedom of speech and information and genuine education, they're actually, number one, preventing freedom of speech. So a lot of that is going on right now. But also, too, they're greatly so encouraging, the government is, and this is undeniable, to debase yourself as low as possible. Everything is okay and fine. Every form of evil, debasement, and I'm not a person that's into morality. I couldn't care less about morality, to be honest with you. But they're actually encouraging gambling and every form of psychophysical debasement that is evil and vile and trashy and far worse. So they're encouraging all of that to distract you from what they're doing over here. It appears they're actually setting up a conflict because the entire economy of the Western world, and this is being done on purpose. This is, of course, Agenda 2030, that they're setting up for collapse, but they're actually setting up conflict, and they're going to, wag the finger probably at Russia, or who knows, probably several entities, saying, oh, look, this conflict caused the crash, but the crash was coming anyway, but they're actually setting up conflict with several entities to blame on the crash of this. I have absolutely no question. Once again, I really, as someone that's part English, not that I've ever been there, but I'm part English, it's just what the UK government has been doing to its citizens is absolutely unbridled, pure evil. Here in the UK, people are getting arrested for tweets, and I lived in Soviet Russia for a long time. Yeah? In the Soviet Socialistic Republic and also two post-Soviet, okay? I know when I talk about Soviet oppression, I actually know it firsthand. that I can say legitimately that whatever people thought back in the 80s and 90s about totalitarian socialisticheskik, that's Russian for socialist, crackdowns in Soviet and post-Soviet Russia is way worse than the UK. And I can actually back that up. Stats are something like 3,300 people in the UK have been arrested in the UK for thought crimes. And in Mother Russia, I was about to say, I actually combined Russia with Russia. I splurged, I melded those two words together. Sorry about that. This is what happens when you're trying to say English and Russian at the same time. Big mistake. I'll edit that out of this video. Only 400 in Russia. You got so 3,300 in totalitarian UK versus 400 in Russia for the same thing. Thought crimes. The fact that the UK government, and I hesitate to use the word government, finds it comfortable with throwing people in a freaking cage in 2024 for not saying anything. It's amazing what they're throwing people in jail for. One guy got 20 months in jail, I forget the guy's name, for basically saying, you know, what's wrong with you, basically talking about his other UK citizens. What's wrong with you people? And, you know, why are you putting up with this? Something to that effect. I mean, totally innocent. You've got this goose-stepping wing of some aspect of the UK government that is actively searching out keyboard warriors in the UK, probably eating donuts and typing on the keyboard with, like, sugar sprinkles in the keyboard. You know, to hunt them, you know, to find them and throw them in the clink. This is a rhetorical question. I know the answer to it. Well, what the heck is wrong with you, UK? Really? Since all of this started in early 2019, all the prepping that's going on and people getting prepared and on and on and on, I've been doing plenty of that myself. I saw it coming a long, long time ago. You know, I made every move possible. I have to tell you that people I know that have money and even people I know that don't have any money, just in the past 2 months alone, they're moving harder, faster than they have at any point in time since 2019. Oh, and I mean that. They really and truly are. I know some people that sell surplus equipment, military surplus, a lot of which is used by preppers, and stuff's just flying out the door. More so than 2019, 2020? The answer is yes. It's quite amazing. This really is a prepper red alert. I mean, this is your last chance to get some stuff. I've been trying to stockpile wood, and I actually have a spare stove. It's actually a True North TN20. It's made in Canada, and it doesn't have a blower in it. It doesn't have a catalytic in it. It's got a secondary burner, but they've had those for ages. But I have two True North TN20s now, and I have a spare one sitting in my cabin. So there's a stove in my cabin in the living room. There's another completely brand new TN20 True North stove. Medical supplies are vanishing. Asset diversification, I don't know who's buying gold and silver because they're too darn high. Are they going to go a lot higher? I can't speculate out on that. I'm not going to presume to. I've been buying precious metals since I was a young teenager. Anybody that tells you that they know is a liar, and I'm not going to lie to you. There's a whole lot of asset diversification going on. The reason why you know, the folks sold the house is that you know, they're trying to pool up resources, and they're going to buy. They have a fireplace. They're going to get a wood stove insert. So I'm told anyway, and stockpile some wood so that, you know. I have a dual phase. It's 65 pound. It combines inverter and dual charge controllers with 11,000 watts of solar input coming. It's about yay big, yay thick. That'll be here tomorrow, yeah? It'll be here tomorrow. 65 pounds. It's a Sun Gold Power unit. I like to apply it to this house. Things just keep picking up. I wouldn't have thought, if you told me, once things, the radical nuttiness dies down in, say, late 2024, which is where we're at right now. Did I mention my birthday's tomorrow? Happy birthday to me. Tattooed monkey gonna be 52. That prepping would even go into a higher gear right now than 2019, 2020. I was like, I wouldn't have believed you. No. I mean, when everybody got savvy to the poison juice, the stab juice we can call it, after all of that's kind of course, they're working on version 2.0 right now. I know that as well as you do. I wouldn't have thought that was possible. I really didn't think so, especially now that everybody's broke. This is something. Now, for my birthday, I got a pack of filet mignons. I got, what else did I get? 2 packs of mushrooms, a pack of filet mignons, the cheapest at Sam's Club, no less, no luxury grocery store, and a bag of grapes, and that was $78. I got 4 items, and that was $78 at the grocery store today. Yeah, that was my birthday present, mushrooms and filet mignon. Here, I know this sounds like a commercial, and I got a link below also for this and my favorite light in the whole world. Trust me, when I tell you, I've got the best lights that money can buy, and I really do. I use the hell out of this thing. You know, if you're already invested in DeWalt batteries, I got like 20 DeWalt tools, and I had a brain fart, and I had to look. It's like, it's DeWalt, yeah. I literally have 20 DeWalt tools, I think 21. You should be invested in DeWalt tools already, but you don't have to be. This stuff, and they used to, everything you see on TV is garbage and trash and scam. I got a link below for it. And the only reason why there's any negative reviews on this, you know how people like return used stuff at Amazon? Well, once you pop the top on this, if you don't seal it super, super, super tight, super quickly, it dries out quickly. It is this thick paste, and not that runny stuff, which is a paint like you've seen. And they had this on TV, and I always thought, yeah, whatever. Anything on TV is garbage. I have used like 6 or 7 jars of this stuff. It actually comes in a 2-pound thing, and I even got a bigger one. But this is the 1-pound can. And it does dry up quickly. You just use a spatula, and you just squish it in a thing. It dries out quick. It comes in white and black. I have never... You ever use something that's so awesome, and again I say there's only like a dozen things like that, something so awesome that it makes you cry in a good way? This is the only thing I could think of that's ever been on TV that was not only good, because everything on TV, like, somebody got some pitch man waving his arms around like he's a goofball. It's like, well, that's trash, because it's on TV. Now, I don't know about the paint and stuff or the spray stuff. I don't like runny stuff. This is actually thick. If you like make it a little mound of it and pull that out, it'd be thick, kind of like, not as thick as Play-Doh, but it's not runny at all. I don't want to open up the can, but you just scoop it out with a spatula, smear it in any corner, it waterproofs anything, it seals up holes and cracks. I have never been so impressed. Top 10 things I've been most impressed with in life. Yeah, but the only negative reviews of this on Amazon is where somebody used a little bit of it, all that they needed, and they like returned it to Amazon, and they just like put it back on the shelf to sell, and like somebody got one, been opened up, and it been half dried. But that doesn't give this a negative review. It's just Amazon's horrific return policy, for example. And I think they stopped that. But that's the only reason why there was any negative review. Somebody like, opened it up, was already halfway dry. That's because you bought a can that had already been opened. So all the negative reviews, and there's not many of this stuff, are just fake. Because someone opened up the can and used it, and they didn't put the lid back on it immediately. But if you had something like that, they'd let you return it. This stuff is amazing. I'm sorry, I just had to point this stuff out. Like, you got a crack in your foundation or the side of the house, or you want to water seal something, and it dries up roughly about 4 or 5 hours, but they say 24 hours to cure. It's so easy to use. A blind person could use it. I'm sorry, I know I sound like a pitch man in promoting this product, but I really do. And it's the only thing ever been shown on TV that I know of that's literally absolutely amazing. But it's not the spray and it's not the paint, which is runny. Yeah, oh, those are all runny. This is thick. Kind of the consistency of like super soft chewing gum. Not when you've chewed the heck out of the chewing gum and it's already getting hard, but when you first start chewing it and it's pretty soft, but it's definitely not runny. That's about the consistency. You smear it in any corner. It's absolutely amazing. I'm sorry, I'm so impressed with this stuff. I really, really am. I just had to talk about it. I apologize for that. We're going to have a lull here, but what happens on September the 18th? I can't wait for all of us to see what happens on September the 18th when he goes in for sentencing. Because they've already they're staging federal troops in multicam camouflage in New York City hotels. There are many videos like that already. Don't take my word for it. Go find them. There's plenty of them out there. Lowe's and Home Depot are right. They're a bellwether, and they've issued a dire warning to our economy. And we're 4 to 5 magnitudes worse than right before 2008 crash. If that doesn't tell you something, then absolutely nothing will tell you anything. You just won't believe it. I don't believe it! So the figures are 4 to 5 times worse than right before 2008 crash. You still think nothing's going down. Nah, I don't believe it. We just print more money. Yeah, right. Anyway, tomorrow, happy birthday to me. I'd like to take a couple days off. Sorry I've been absent, but I've been crazy, crazy busy. Thank you so much for watching, and happy birthday to me, I guess. Yeah, maybe I'll zone out and drink. I'll zone out. I love this stuff. I'll zone out watching the lava lamp, and I'll drink some pomegranate juice, or maybe some kombucha. Peach flavored kombucha. Man, that stuff's good. Simple pleasures. The less I do, the better. Because it's supposed to do on your birthday. I think. That's my idea of a perfect birthday. Not doing much. Thank you so much for watching.